I mean, this was fascinating.
Yeah. What do
It
you
really was.
What do you think?
Okay, all right. So I've had carpal tunnel now for it's got to be about 3 or 4 years, and it's really it gets worse sometimes depending on what I'm doing. But recently, it's been a lot of tingling in my right hand. It's usually my right hand, and it just hurts at night. It just kind of spreads from my fingers up my arm, depending on what I've been doing during the day. I have to sleep with a brace in my hands most of the time to keep it from really bothering me and waking me up. There were times when it wakes me up in the middle of the night where I feel the a lot of tingling, like ants running up and down my hands, and then it gets painful up to my elbow actually. If I do certain things like sewing, recently I was sewing something by hand and with the needle, I just kept feeling it that I had to stop and then I had to go back to it about 20 minutes later and so on. So there are times when it's manageable, but then there are times when I can't do anything like try to open a can because it just feels very tingly. Like things running up and down my veins, that's how it feels. I've seen a hand surgeon. I've seen him now for about 2 years. And it started with trigger finger that I had, and he gave me an injection for that, and another trigger finger. Then the carpal tunnel started about 2 years ago, and he gave me an injection about a year ago, and that relieved it for about 6 8 months. But then he says there's only one injection, and you can't have another injection. The next would have to be surgery. Now, my understanding is surgery is it could help, it could not help, or it could make it worse. So I'm afraid to do that and to do any surgery on my hand, and it could even kill a nerve if that's what I understand. So I haven't been able to do that. I manage it by wearing these, I forget, there's like copper fit gloves that I try to do during the day, and at night I try to sleep with a brace. If I don't, then I wake up with pain and tingling in my hands. Some days it's not so bad, but a lot of the times it's kind of debilitating with my hands.
What do you think was the cause of your carpal tunnel?
You know, if I retired from my healthcare career about 5 years ago now, and soon after that I started. I used to sew a lot when I was younger, and then I decided that I wanted to start a sewing business and a design business. So I started a business. I posted myself online. It was all bespoke work. I made everything. I got a lot of orders, but I was the only one sewing. That's when the carpal tunnel started. just sewing. It's like all of a sudden, like, oh my God, the trigger finger came on, and it just. So I stopped doing the business. And I stopped doing it for like 2 years. So recently, I started to sew my own clothes again, like I used to, and that's when it started again. I said, oh no. So the sewing, I think the motion with my hands, I think that's what started it.
That detailed kind of sewing work.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
how long can you sew for right now at a time? Before you need to take a
So if it's hand sewing, I could probably do 5 minutes of stitching on before my hand starts to feel very tingly and numb. So then I have to stop. When I'm cutting fabric, that same thing happens. So if I'm cutting the fabric, I have to now I have to use a roller. I don't know, for people who know how to sew, it's like a circle, like a pizza cutter,
Okay.
and you do that to cut the fabric.
Yeah.
But I like using, just the regular scissors.
Yeah.
So when I use the regular scissors, it just feels all the way here.
Mm-hmm.
So so it's a little inconvenient. It's something I love to do.
Does the hand wake you up at night when you're sleeping?
It does. It has in the past. And sometimes it still wakes me up even when I wear the brace, because sometimes the brace feels tight and the brace seems to be also triggering it. So then I wake up in the middle of the night, I take it off, and then I might be able to fall back asleep, but it interrupts my sleep.
All right, let's see. Anything else that we should know about?
Yeah, just I want to be if I'm, and I don't know if it's the combination of the trigger finger that it's really hard to like do this. That when I'm trying to open something, I have to use a one of those tools that you put over the cap to
kind of
open
help you
it.
open
Yes,
it.
yes,
Okay.
because I can't do it with my hands.
So your grip strength kind of
Exactly.
You have a hard time opening your
Right,
can.
right. It just feels like I feel it, coming up my hands.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So we're back after our first session of Stimpod for your right carpal tunnel. How does it feel? Go ahead and kind of squeeze your hand.
I mean, if it feels good. I'm hoping that later on I could feel the difference, but right now I don't have any tingling. I mean, this was fascinating.
Yeah.
It really was.
What do you think?
I think that just to feel the stimulation in my hands, and also to feel the difference between the nerves that are kind of, active and those that are dormant, was very, very educational. So I'm hoping this is going to work for me, and that maybe later on I'll feel a little less, because at night it's usually when I feel all that tingling and sometimes pain. But this was good. This was really good.
Where do you usually feel the pain?
It's so that all the tingling feels like ants running up and down my fingers, and I'm constantly trying to do this to my fingers. And then if it doesn't stop, then it kind of goes up my arm, and the pain comes up to my arm, and I feel it here and here. And it's hard to sleep when that's happening.
And it usually comes out. And how long does it last?
That can last for 20 minutes, even longer, and until a lot of times I feel like when I'm resting and I'm in bed, it happens more often than when I'm standing. So I need to move my arm sometimes or change positions to be able to get a little bit of relief. But it could last most of my waking time at night until I fall asleep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what happens tonight and see
Okay.
how you respond.
All right.